Hey everyone, it's Damien, aka Sleepy Reader. This is Sleepy Vlog number 101. But what's important is that today is April 20th, 2025. I started this channel on April 28th, April 28th. Man, I get everything wrong all the time. April 28th, 2025 is today. I started this channel on April 28th, 2012. And little did I know what I was getting myself into. I guess ultimately it's changed my life in some big ways and some little ways. Not as important as having my daughter or meeting my wife for all those kind of things, but it has become a big part of my life with so many friends, so many videos, so many different experiences that I would not have had without having made that first step of starting my channel, in which I just wanted to sort of somehow, my first video was really lame, but I wanted somehow to be part of this discussion I heard online of, at the time, a small group of people using YouTube as a sort of fandom forum to just chat about comics and I think early on people were talking about sort of the comics life story, and that really that really made me want to get involved. And I think ultimately it led in lots of places that I just did not anticipate at the time I put up those videos. But a little more on that later, I guess. I'm gonna talk about a comic book trade, making trading comics with another YouTuber, um, some comic book memorabilia, some gifts from two different YouTubers, um, and I want to talk a little bit about Mark Ghost Critic, who I learned, thank you very much to Howler Mouse, who let me know that Mark had passed away. Mark hasn't been on YouTube since I think 2018, but he was an integral part of YouTube when I joined.
Hello everybody, it's me, Ghost Critic. Thank you for joining me for another week of comic book reviews. And as I record this, it's a very gloomy, wet and miserable day. So let's see if we can cheer ourselves up by talking about some comic books.
And a big part of me joining YouTube, and I got a lot of ideas of how to do videos from him too. I wish I had met him, but I was a avid fan of his channel. So anyway, back to more fun things. Uh, Metarog Roger is doing a project to finish getting all of his Marvel value stamps. I think they're called value stamps. Yeah. Uh, to get a complete collection of Marvel value stamps, and he's got it down to, well, he had it down to like 20 something comics, and now he just needs about, I think, about 9 or even less. But so he's trading with people who have the comics he needs. So I sent him 6 comics, and he sent me back, I think, about 12 comics in return. Um, First of all, he sent me copies of there were he had these, but with the stamps cut out, and I said I wanted to get my Deathlock, the Demolisher back, and my Doctor Strange back. I also gave him some Spider-Mans that I didn't really want as part of my collection anyway, and a Hulk, which I already owned another copy of. So he sent me, at my request, I said, well, send me some Charlton comics or some Gold Key comics that I probably don't have. And so he did. And all of them that he sent me, I do not have, and will no doubt trigger some more collecting frenzy. So first off, there's Attack, Our Fighting Forces in Action. I don't initially see a signature on the cover, but it's funny. It gives me a Frank Thorne vibe. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that. Um, and inside, the art looks very nice and clean. I'm actually looking at these for the opening them up for the first time on camera. I just enjoy doing that. I'm curious what it looks like inside. It's actually a much cleaner art style than I expected. Oh, here's a bit more of a scratchy art style. Uh, could that be Dan Spiegel, maybe? Let's see if there's a signature on the splash page. Um, no, I don't see any kind of signature. I'm not sure who that is, but the art style looks familiar. And then most of them came two-sided. So here's two issues of Ghost Manor. Roger's very economical in the way he stores his comics, so they're usually two to a bag. Um, this is Ghost Manor, Visit Ghost Manor If You Dare, number 43. I like how they also put the title up there. I guess that was to make sure it would be visible on certain kinds of racks. Um, sorry, I'm just trying to find a page without ads. There's some of the interior art. It's kind of appealing. It kind of looks like a similar, oh, some of it's quite intense looking. So I don't know if I've ever even read an issue of Ghost Manor. It looks like some Ditko art here too. So that's very exciting. And Ghost Manor number 41. What was the first one? Number 43. That looks like a. My first thought is that's a Ditko cover. I'm not sure if I'm right or not. Interior art by Wayne Howard. Oops. Who I know mostly that he was a apprentice to Wally Wood, and I've seen some work by him that is in a Wally Wood kind of style. Although this seems to be a bit of a different style. Maybe some of that other stuff was Wayne Howard also. Here's stuff from artist Jack Abel, who I knew as a inker at Marvel and DC. I used to like his inks a lot when I was a kid. I always felt like any issue inked by him was very clear and solid, so to speak. That looks like the Ditko. So maybe each issue has some Ditko in it. That would be awesome. The Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves, and on the flip side, Ghostly Tales. I'm going to continue to indulge myself. I like this cover a lot. I'm not sure who that is. It could be Ditko, but I think not. So Dr. Graves is our narrator, I assume, for various spooky stories. And he smokes a pipe, like my dad did for a while when smoking a pipe was cool. Then his dentist told him not to do it, and he stopped. Guess it's not good for the enamel on your teeth. And there's the Ditko story, The Lost Dutchman's Mine. I wonder if Ditko got to plot stories in these books the way he did at Marvel. Um, I'm not sure. Okay, this is super exciting to me from ACG Unknown Worlds, and it is backed with Scary Tales. And this cover has a signature from Schaffenberger. So that's interesting. I never thought about where else Schaffenberger worked um, besides DC. He's so well known for his Supergirl work. Is it Supergirl work? Or no, maybe is it Captain Marvel? I can't remember now. I can't remember. But inside the art's by Chick Stone. I've never met anyone in person named Chick or Chic. This looks like Wayne Howard art to me, but I'm just guessing. Unlucky Cat. Take a peek into Scary Tales. So that Unknown Worlds kind of has a similar vibe to Charlton to me, although on higher quality paper. So in this issue of Scary Tales, we've got The Inn of the Crying Woman. Let's see a signature. Interesting looking art though. I'm almost wanting to guess that that's Sanho Kim, but I don't know if I'm right. That looks really nice. And is this Ditko? So nice stuff. It's one of the great things about comics is there just seems to always be new niches to explore, and Roger has helped me find a bunch of those niches. Solar Man of the Atom with a drawn cover rather than a painted cover from the 60 cent era. I wonder if these are reprints. Um, wow, this artwork is not what I expected. It almost looks like it's inked by Vince Coletta or something. Got a little, is it an ad or a backup Magnus story? And then, sorry, Solar was backed with another Solar Man of the Atom, Dr. Solar Man of the Atom, but with a painted cover, probably by George Wilson. Crazy looking. Um, Much simpler art on the inside. As a kid, I avoided the gold key kind of painted cover books because I was so disappointed by the interior art. It's something that doesn't bother me as much anymore. And I've read some Solar Man of the Atom, but I don't own many issues. I've read them in reprints I got from the library, I think. So this one is 2 more issues of Ghostly Tales. These are very cool covers. Kind of a collage of images, perhaps images from within the comic. Don't Reap on Me, Winnie the Witch. That's a bit of an odd name for a spooky witch. I guess just because Winnie the Pooh has taught us to think of that name as not very scary. Oh, and here's some what looks to be Ditko artwork. And I'll just look inside the next ghostly tabs. It gives the editor and the scripter. Maybe this is the signature of the artist Pal? I don't know. Pale? Has kind of a what I think of as a romance comic look. And I don't know why they didn't put the Ditko stories as the lead stories, but they never seem to do that. Wings of Death clearly looks like Ditko to me. So there you have it, my trade with Roger. Um, I might actually dig up a few more comics to trade with Roger. We'll see. Um, so then I wanted to show, let's see, I've got these out of order in this little pile here, some gifts I received. So, is this upside down? I think that's the right way. This is a book that Bullseye Bob from Everything Comics gave me. I think it was a delayed Christmas present. I know I gave him at the same time an issue of Commandy that was a delayed Christmas present. So this is an unusual book. It's an art book featuring 2 artists, and most of it is just, I think, in Japanese and Korean. But the 2 artists are named here, Terada Katsuya and Kim Jun-gi. And Kim Jun-gi, I believe, is the mural artist who recently died and was famous for doing everything out of his head. And so in here, if I use Google Translate, I find that the 2 of them are leaving comments about each other's art, little appreciative comments about each other's art. So that's quite an unusual thing. And so it's a Korean artist and a Japanese artist. But other than that, I don't know a lot about the artist, but I definitely need to learn more, and I need to, I enjoy this book a lot. So I really appreciate Bob giving it to me. It was very thoughtful of him, very knowing of him, of what I might like, but that what I wouldn't have. I know I'm a hard person to give gift to in comics with all the ones I already have. That's pretty incredible. There's just incredible drawing after incredible drawing in here. Um, so yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bullseye. And then quite a while ago, I got a box of presents from David, aka the Garage Geek, and then I misplaced. I was going to do a video about them, and I misplaced them. I couldn't find them, and I found them, and then I was in a state of putting off procrastinating on videos. So this is coming from several months ago. David was lucky enough to go to an exhibition in LA focused on Jack Kirby called Kirby Vision. So he sent me the card for it. It included lots of original Kirby art and then tribute art by other artists. And I guess it had um a what do you call it? A 3D aspect to it. So they gave out 3D glasses, and David sent me the 3D glasses. That'll come in handy because I have a lot of 3D comics. Here's another card from the Kirby Museum. Um, I think there still is no physical Kirby Museum. It's just an online thing. And I'm not sure how David knew that I would love to get Monster Times, but I have a few other issues of Monster Times, and it's something that as a kid I was longing to get. It was kind of something I must have read about it somewhere else, but I could never find it. They never sold it at any stores in the part of Connecticut I lived in. Um, so I bought a few copies as an adult, and now I have this one, which is in much better condition actually than the issues I have. And I don't, maybe it's just a relic of the past, so I feel particularly fond of these kind of tabloid fan magazines, kind of like Jim Steranko's Media Scene and Comic Scene, and I think Monster Times, or the publishers of Monster Times, put out a similar thing about comics that lasted for a short while. Can't remember the name of it right now. And then he got me this book, Monster International. Very cool looking. And it is, I don't know when this dates to, but it looks like it's got articles about different horror movies. Guts of a Virgin. I don't think I want to watch that. Who is the ghost in Sleepy Hollow? The Legend of the Eight Samurai. So this is very intriguing. I'm looking for a date. It's published by Kronos Publications in Oberlin, Ohio. Just don't see a date. Anyway, it seems like something a little more modern. Um, but again, thank you so much, David. Then he sent me this issue of the Comics Journal devoted to Will Eisner. And obviously, or maybe not obviously, depending on which of my videos you've seen, I'm a huge Will Eisner fan. Um, it looks like it's more than just Will Eisner. It's got the usual Comics Journal stuff in it. But I look forward to reading this a lot. And Millar and McNiven's, or Miller and McNiven's Nemesis, which I've never read. I guess this was published by Marvel? I didn't realize that. It looks very bloody. And then super exciting to me, the Marvel Masterworks with the early Warlock, the Warlock that was started by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane. I think eventually other writers and artists took over. Um, he was on Counter Earth fighting the Man Beast. He was basically Jesus versus the devil on this alternate Earth, to oversimplify things. And then 2 issues of the Atom Archives. 2 issues, 2 volumes. Nice hardbacks. So I'm super excited to have those. I don't. The Atom just had a lot of fun artwork in it, so and fun covers. And eventually he, I think, teamed up with Hawkman, or maybe just shared his comic with Hawkman. So definitely sort of classic Silver Age DC stuff. That's obviously Gil Kane there. I can tell Gil Kane just by looking at that body. Like no one else would draw a body in flight like that, but Gil Kane. Art by Gil Kane and Murphy Anderson here. Yeah, so this is really sweet. And then I'm not sure what this is. Some unusual graphic novel from Image. The best graphic novel of the year. This is a brilliant book, according to Comics Alliance. A harrowing tale of murder, mysticism, and myth by Stephen T. Seagal and Moritat. Moritat. So I don't know what this is about. I think it goes back a ways because I think I would have heard of it if it came out more recently. So thank you so much, David. I'm not finding dates on this one either. It is 2016. Not as far back as I thought. Okay, and then this is like a gift from the deceased. So I mentioned Ghost Critic died. Two local comics fans that I got to know through YouTube now have died. So along with all the exciting good things with comics, with being part of Comics YouTube, um, real life intervenes. So apparently, Jen, I think orally said that when they was asked what should we do with all your comics, as she was getting more and more ill, she said she wanted her friends to just go through them and pick out what they wanted. Um, and so the day before her memorial, a bunch of us were out for lunch and we were taken to her my brain stops working while trying to think about this. We were taken to her storage unit. She had a narrow sort of closet sized storage unit, but it went back very deep and it was just packed with stuff. And we pulled out a whole bunch of boxes from the storage unit into the hallway and we started digging through it. And I found it a kind of a hard thing to do. And other people who knew her better perhaps had more stuff of hers that they wanted to have. And I just picked out a few items to remember her by. One is this Batwoman, Kate Kane Batwoman figure. I guess she had kept it in the box. I'm really tempted to take it out of the box. I feel disconnected from figures that are still in the box. I kind of want to put it up on a shelf somewhere, have it standing there looking at me, reminding me of Jen. And then I just grabbed some odds and ends that looked interesting and that seemed like something that uh, made me think of her. So Black is the Color is this small indie graphic novel, um, maybe from Fantagraphics Books. And it's definitely got that kind of indie look to it. Um, and a bit has a bit of a dark look to it. And then Divas, Dames, and Daredevils, about a book about the female characters of the Golden Age. So I thought, A, that's something that interests me a lot, and B, it'll be yet another thing that'll help me remind me of Jen and her fierce feminism. And then this is some strange indie, probably self-published kind of comic called Garbage World. Um, it says $10, Earth dollars, Garbage World, and it's a pretty crazy, pretty underground kind of comic. I haven't read it. I've just thumbed through it, but I will read it eventually. So that's a lot of she liked a lot of superheroes and stuff like that, but somehow I felt good getting some crazy underground book that she had picked out. And perhaps the most sort of self-serving choice I made. Um, I didn't know she was interested, or maybe she wasn't, was or wasn't interested in the old Warren horror magazines, although I guess she liked horror. So this is volume one of the Creepy Archives. Has the first five issues of Creepy, and I'm looking forward. I've read some of these in the past. I'm looking forward to reading them again or reading things anew, and saying cheers to Jen up in heaven if that's where she is. Um, yeah. So um, Ghost Critic has passed, and he was most definitely one of the people that inspired me to start my channel. There was a list in the description of my first video. There was a list of people that had inspired me, and his name was first. And it's weird to think now, with all this time that I've been on, how almost no one knows who he is anymore. And he was definitely at the top of the little group in terms of someone that everyone knew and watched. And he left YouTube. Well, he gave a variety of reasons, but I was always hoping he would come back. But financial, how much money he was spending on comics, um, his distress at the popularity at the time of all the new Comicsgate channels and how they were drawing viewers away from the rest of us. I was watching some old videos of his and found comments by myself. One of his last videos where he's talking about why he was thinking he might quit YouTube. And I wrote that I also had about 100 less views per video since Comicsgate came around. Now, eventually that kind of went away. I mean, I guess Comicsgaters are still out there, but they're not. My views are back up to normal, so to speak, and they don't show up in my feed or anything like that on YouTube. So it kind of went away, but a whole new version of the community, several new versions of the community evolved since then, I guess. Um, that's the crazy thing about all, if you stay in it long enough, it just keeps shifting on you and people keep thinking it's new, and you feel like a drag saying, well, we've been doing it since such and such. Well, Captain Strangelife's been doing it even, I forget, I once looked up the date when he started, but Ghost Critics started it 2 years or more before me. Um, so anyway, yeah, I think one of the things, so I guess Ghost Critic was worrying about views, and I know people worry about views and they worry about subscribers, but for me, what has been great about this is two things: meeting people, finding a bit of a community, um, different from the communities you would find in regular life, meeting people from all different little corners and niches of the world. And, that different from the people I meet, around my neighborhood, or parents I meet through my daughter at school, or all my old friends from various places, just different sets of people, all of whom I end up liking. Um, but also the having this platform where you can speak to people without the back and forth of normal life. Like, say you're in a group of people, you have to wait your turn to speak. You may not get to express all your thoughts. Here on YouTube, you can express everything you want, and someone is listening, usually. Um, and if not, you still have gotten to express it. And so I really like, and I like to listen to other people expressing their thoughts, but I like the chance everyone has to just be themselves, to almost on an existential level create who they are or what they want to say without as much influence from other people. Now I know that it's impure. People are influenced by other people, other YouTubers and the like, but you really have the opportunity to just say it the way you want, or develop your thought. I've developed my thoughts over years, I guess, of talking about comics. So anyway, I just appreciate it for that. I guess it sounds kind of weird now that I've said it out loud. But I hope all of you are doing well and are getting a chance to read more comics, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Hello everybody, it's Ghost Critic here with a little bonus video before tomorrow's review show, and it was basically because of one certain comic that came out this week, hotly anticipated, already sold out and being prepped for a second printing, was so much in demand that my comic book shop hid all their issues under the counter and was only giving them out to, you know, what they call discerning comic book collectors. I think they were trying to stop people from buying these as speculators and sticking them on eBay and getting, you know, stupid amounts of money for them. But what is this comic book, I hear you ask? Well, Saga. It's Brian K. Vaughan's new title on Image, drawn artwork by Fiona Staples, and I have to say this is pretty special. I would go so far as to say this could well become one of my firm favourite titles if this goes anywhere as epic as it has here. I'm not going to review it as such, just tell you why you should be picking it up and why I'm going to recommend this so much just from one issue.